There was a time not too long ago when if you were a young man about town, had a bit of cash to spend and were looking for a bit of fun, skirt chasing and back alley bare knuckle boxing, you bought yourself a Roadster. This was a car that was small, light and yet had a powerful engine, superlative handling and most importantly, 2 seats. This was the kind of car that older men would sneer at and boys would chase. In Europe, you could get by with a ragtop because in Europe, summers are fun and to be enjoyed and not run away from. This is Times Drive. I'm Joel Pereira and today we're indulging in 2 very rare luxuries. 1, we're driving a convertible and 2, because it's still February and the sun isn't trying to charboil us to a juicy medium rare, we're driving with the top down. This is the 2014 BMW Z4.
Like, yeah, I make money like so what? I make money like so what? I make money like so what?
Or to be more precise, the BMW Z4 sDrive 35i Roadster. BMW didn't even have to call it that because really, given the way this 2-seater coupe looks, it really couldn't be anything but a Roadster.
I'ma run to the money to make it. That means I'm going.
Now you could be boring and call this car a convertible, but that'd be like calling Jennifer Lawrence pretty. Because if you think about it, the old puny Sandstorm used to be a convertible too. Nope, this is a Roadster. It just sounds better, more manlier.
A lot of cash sitting in my pocket. Cargo shorts fit right with 2 watches.
Like all good Roadsters, the purposeful looking front end goes on forever and the boot, on the other hand, barely even gets started. There's all those slashes and curves running down the side that say yes, a bunch of very intelligent German men made sure that people will stare at you as you drive past. Even BMW's trademark kidney grille looks like a snarl when it's stuck on this sweet thing. Heck, it even looks angry. Though the Z4 might look great when it's just standing there, it feels so much better when it's flying around, with me behind the wheel. Now, as with the older Z4, you still got a 3-litre straight-six engine which gets some extra sugar thanks to a twin turbo. So that's 302 horsepower and 400 newtons of torque. Unsurprisingly then, 0 to 100 will come up in about 6 seconds and change. In fact, if you want to hear an even more impressive sounding statistic, how's this? On paper, the Z4's got a pretty much the same power to weight ratio as a Porsche Boxster S. Now putting that power to the road is a dual clutch automatic gearbox. Yes, it does have paddle shifters and yes, it's got 7 speeds and yes, it will shift literally in milliseconds. Simply put, this car's got 2 real speeds. Fast? Are you serious? There are of course choices in driving modes as well because hey, we're not communists here. So you get the regular laid-back normal mode, the sprightly sports mode and the white-knuckle sports plus mode. And like any self-respecting German sports car, the Z4 handles pretty damn well too. Some of the credit for that goes to the car's front end but rear-wheel drive layout. And then there's the fact that the weight distribution across this car is pretty much even. Hit a corner hard and unless you're a total idiot, you will not smear yourself across the guardrail. More importantly, even though the Z4 looks really long, BMW's uber intelligent German techies have been quite clever. All 4 wheels are pretty much at the 4 corners of the car, so there's 0 overhang at either end. Also, the low-slung seating on this car means that I'm actually sitting pretty close to the rear axle, which in turn is having a friendly chat with my bum ever so often, telling me exactly what the car's feeling around bends. The only complaints I really have with the Z4's handling is the fact that you've got a hint of torque steer at the start that you've got to grapple with before you're on your way. That and the electric steering feels a little lifeless dead straight. Now because this is a modern German sports car, you're going to have dynamic suspension. Also, because this is a modern German sports car, the suspension is going to be quite tight and thumpy in normal mode. But if you hit sports mode and the road ahead is not silky smooth, you're going to have to sleep on your stomach for up to a week. Now, despite all that bravado and sportiness, the Z4 isn't as raffish as its main German competitor, the Porsche Boxster, and under no circumstances must you assume that you could put on a helmet and take this car out to the track. Maybe it's the cramped corporate type interior or the fact that the insides of this car don't have anything that makes you feel really special. Since this is a small two-door sports car, there's very little to the interiors, and they do feel cramped if you're a big guy like me. There really is no space for anything, not even a phone. The red leather and aluminum mesh are a nice touch, but other than that, there really isn't anything else. No strips of enamel colors, no chrome, no special badging. I can't put my finger in it, but it feels something about this car gives me the sense that no matter how sporty or fun it seems, it feels like it would never leave the house without a pair of formal shoes on.
The beat back, man, that's my presentation. On your mark, get set, ready, let's go.
And then there's the roof, whose novelty will wear out really quickly when you realize that convertibles are really rare in India, and if you do drive with the top down, especially in the city in traffic, you will look like a Burke.
Focus, focus, the laws of motion. The fear sink ships in a salty ocean. A hocus, crocus like a swarm of locusts.
And then you run the risk of being spit on by some spiteful common man type from a bus as an expression of his righteous malice. Still, the Z4 is definitely one of BMW's most fun to drive this side of the M Sport range. Most Beamers like the 5 Series, for example, even if you buy them for speed, there is an element of practicality for them. 4 doors, 4 seats, kids can go to school, etc. Not so with the Z4. This is a young rich man's toy, best enjoyed alone or maybe with someone who's got legs that are better than yours. On the business side of 65 lakh rupees ex-showroom, this is a guilty pleasure on 4 wheels. Now, if you do have the kind of money though, there is no reason why you shouldn't indulge, though you should drive with the top down at all times, because the common man can be quite malicious.
Let's go.